track is dedicated to all the ladies out there who like to go to the movies, you know, especially you, girl. Let me take you to the movie, shawty. I'm sure later on you will be my baby. Let's sit down and just be by my side. I got the popcorn, I know what I feel like.
Thank you to Bangs for coming into my apartment out of quarantine.
Yes.
Came here from Australia to perform, and Ron just blew a load of vape smoke in his face. No one ever calls it a load when you exhale.
They shouldn't. It's already bad enough.
We have different opinions on that. I think that should become the new nomenclature.
I don't think that you can say that because I don't think vapors would get it because they don't know what sex is.
That's true. And even if you've had sex before, when you start vaping, you forget.
Right.
Yeah, it's just,
you lose your sex license.
Yeah, which is Donald Trump. Not everything he's done do I approve of, but licensing sex is overall better for the world.
I got to give it to him for that. Making hentai illegal again. Look, broken clock.
Listen,
Just
the other day he said, just inject yourself with Lysol. See what the fuck happens.
Yeah, I love that we have our first jackass president.
It rules.
Yo, what's going on? I'm Donnie Trump, and this is infect Lysol on yourself. See what happens.
Here's what needs to happen. Okay, it needs to come out in like a week that the only cure for COVID-19 is injecting yourself with Lysol. Yeah. That is the only way for this Trump administration to go, is just him to say the dumbest fucking thing and just turn out it's right somehow.
Yeah.
And he's the greatest president ever. Welcome to Adult Films with Collin and Ron. I'm Collin.
I'm Ron.
It's a podcast about movies, baby. Talking movies. And we have a guest today.
We do. This is our first out of state guest.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly the first one who ever recorded while they're out of state.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Billy DeVore.
Yeah.
Hello.
How you doing, Billy?
I'm good, Collin. How are you?
I'm all right, my friend. I got a question for you. My man. I know you host a podcast about sports, correct?
Yeah, it's called The New Nasty Boys. We focus on the Cincinnati Reds, but talk about Major League Baseball in general.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing that for 3 seasons. This season was our first full one where we didn't take a week off and just covered everything that happened every week. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's been great. And I don't even know how many episodes we have because I deleted the whole first season because we got a little risky. Which there's a few things where I'm like, oh man, maybe I should take that down. I don't want to get canceled. So
I mean, it was weird when one episode was called "Has Me Too Gone Too Far?" And
we got Pete Rose on the podcast.
I just called it
still called. Listen, Jerry Sandusky. That bad? Come on.
That bad? Come on. Should we let him?
He wasn't baseball, was he? I don't know shit about sports.
No, he was football. But it's just like Jerry Sandusky. Can we allow him in the clubhouse? Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, my question for you, sir, what are some of your favorite baseball movies?
Ooh, man. Well, Sandlot, that's an easy go-to
Classic.
right there.
Right,
It's a classic. You can't beat it. I mean, it's just the nostalgia factor. It takes everyone back to being kids and just playing in the backyard, and then the mythical beast, and it's just so great.
That's a terrible way to refer to James Earl Jones, but
a mythical beast. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Let it fly. That one, and then Major League, both just classics.
Oh, dude.
It's so great.
It's great.
You can't beat Charlie Sheen in his prime. I mean, and who am I thinking of? Tax Evader, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Speedster.
Voodoo in the Locker House, baby.
So good.
It's great.
I mean, it's fantastic.
I have not actually seen these films. I think I saw the second one on Comedy Central. Is that the one where at the end Charlie Sheen puts his glasses back on and everyone's like, he's got the glasses back on?
I think it was the end of the first one.
Oh, maybe it was the first one then. I think, what are they about? It's like they're a baseball team, but they love pussy.
They love beef, snacking down.
Yeah.
We really lost when we stopped calling vagina beef. We really fucking lost as a society.
Yeah.
We got to go back to that, man.
I'm excelling in it. I freaking love it, dude. I'm all about calling it beef, and I'm in the minority. I feel like people are like, you call it beef, and I'm like, yeah, you don't.
This is not a joke. This is a true story. I was dating a girl once. That part's a joke. I've never been with a woman. But I was dating a girl, and she went to bed with no underpants on. And the next day, I was like up, and I saw her like getting out of bed, and she just pulled the blanket off. And I just like saw like the pussy connect to the asshole, like the whole thing and the gooch and everything.
Right. Wow.
I literally just go, damn, you're flashing me a beef.
I believe the medical terminology for that is the conjunction junction.
That's what it is. Yes.
I thought you were just staring down Devil's Alley.
That's what it is. But I called it a beef, and she hit me. She was like, legitimately upset that I called it that.
Rightfully so.
My wife eye rolls every time I just go, beef! And she's like, no, get out of me. Get out.
Also, get out of me.
Also, when you said pull up the carpet, I just imagine her taking off her merkin. Like,
somebody
pull it off.
One of my favorite recent tweets is somebody tweeted out that they were having sex once, and the woman said to him, come for me, but he heard it as comfort me, so he just started hugging her.
I'm hugging you with my inside.
Yeah. Hey, man, different paths to the same destination. You know what I'm saying?
Different strokes.
For different folks. Yeah, Major League's pretty good. Sandlot, I think it's the Sandlot, the main kid, the one who jumps over the fence and like runs from the dog at the end. So not the main kid, not the one Dennis Leary's the stepdad. The other one who's like good looking. He is like
Benny the Jet.
Benny the Jet, that's the character's name.
Yeah.
Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Yeah, he apparently is like a fireman now, and there's a video of him like beating up a Chinese dude because he was fucking. I think this is the guy. Let me look it up here. What else was he? He was in other movies, right?
I don't remember. I just imagine him beating up the Chinese dude and just like, stop trying to eat the firehouse dog, and just like punching down, just like that joke did. It just punched down.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Pablo Vittar is this actor's name, and is it Mike Vittar?
Do you remember the dude from Austin Powers, Random Task?
Yeah, he's in jail for murdering someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, here's what it is, guys. I just looked it up on Wikipedia. On Hollywood Night 2015, he and fellow firefighters Eric Carpenter, Thomas Molnar, Eugene Elbert, and Michael Carlin approached, chased, and violently assaulted college student Samuel Chang for handing out candy to kids in the neighborhood his grandmother lived in. Chang was choked out for 6 minutes, the result of which was liver failure, brain damage, and other injuries. Chang's pulse stopped, and the assailants had to get their gear to revive him. Then the assailants falsely accused him of being on PCP. A drug test cleared him.
Wow. Where do they live?
Where does he live now? It doesn't say. And maybe we don't need to know. Oh no, wait, he's in Torrance. Since 2002, he's been a firefighter for the Los Angeles Police Department. So he still lives in LA.
Okay, because I had to say, if this was Boston, that's just like what happens in Boston.
In Boston, they would give him the Stanley Cup.
It is a terrible, horrible place, and if he would have done that there, he would have gotten the key to the city.
Exactly what I was thinking. Just like a huge ceremony, a parade.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if, and whenever he goes back to Boston, Mark Wahlberg gets to stop pretending he's sorry.
Yeah.
He goes back and he goes, all right, we're around real people. I'd fucking do it again.
Yeah.
I'm another motherfucker.
Yeah, why wasn't I in Manchester by the Sea? I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, you ever think Casey Affleck, if you know what the allegations against him are, it's just that he like got naked and got into a bed with a woman, which if the allegations are true are bad. Don't do that.
Not great.
Like, what's that?
I said not great.
Not great. Very bad. Don't do it. But in the like long pantheon of things Boston guys have done, he's a fucking saint. Okay, he's gone.
Oh yeah, no, that's a kindergarten teacher in Boston.
Yeah.
In Boston, they go, "What? You just got into bed naked? What are you trying to be, the Pope?"
We got somebody. Look, he's probably trying to be president when he grows up as something. Fucking pussy.
He's just trying to be president of his local Teamsters union.
Yeah.
The 405. All right, guys, let's talk about some movie news before we move on. Some movie news. First off, everything's shut down because some sort of gay flu. I don't know what's going on exactly.
Yeah.
Something about a bat.
Something about a bat. We're protesting because we think in America Chinese people should be allowed to eat bats, and they're not. And so we are refusing to go to the movies till we get them their bats. But apparently, Cinemark, the third biggest movie theater chain in America, the CEO, a guy named Mark Zorati, according to Hollywood Reporter, he was doing some like meeting with shareholders, talking to them, and he said likely they would reopen July 1st. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I mean, that makes sense because, like, you know, it gives enough time for enough people to be quarantined, not go out and see people. And I mean, also with the advent of the recliner in movie theaters, you have less seats anyway.
That's a good point.
And there's enough space in between people. So, and you know, I think that's probably the good move. I mean, if I'm stepping on anything, tell me. But I mean, AMC said they're going to reopen when Tenet comes out.
By the time, because Tenet comes out July 17th, and everything else is like moved. But the two movies that are still fucking firm, and they have not moved yet, we'll see if they do, but Tenet is coming out July 17th, and Mulan, the remake, is coming out July 24th. They have digitally inserted bats into the soup in Mulan, and I don't know if that's it's a little insensitive.
Well, they moved it from June 24th to July.
Yes.
And then Wonder Woman 1984 did not change either. Which
no,
I thought it did.
It did?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They held out for a long time. And then, of course, No Time to Die, which we'll obviously talk about later, is coming out in November. Would you guys go to the movies in July? Are you going to feel comfortable doing it?
Yeah, look, either I get to see a movie and nothing happens, or I get to see a movie and I die. So it's a win-win, I'll be honest.
Yeah, you're getting a good story out of the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all got to die at some point. Like,
yeah.
What's that?
Honestly, there's no time to die, so...
Yeah, I have no time to die.
Yeah.
Done. Time to jack off, not to die, unfortunately. Yeah, I'd go to a movie now. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's not like anyone would go on like a Thursday at 1:15, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we probably shouldn't reopen the movie theaters, I don't think, because it would result in a lot of old people dying. But if they just did it, I'd fucking go. I'm an idiot. And I think I already had coronavirus first off, but even if I didn't, like, my chances of getting it are so much lower compared to everything else I do. Like when I drink heavily and just fucking eat Burger King at least once a week, that is way higher chance of killing me than coronavirus, and I'm going to keep doing it. Fuck it.
Yeah, no shit. Like, I mean, last weekend I chugged 14 White Claws in a night, and I was like, you know what? Thank you.
Yeah, you're very
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a man. And
what flavor of White Claw were you fucking with?
Mixed pack number 2.
Damn.
Oh, buddy.
See, dude, that's my thing. My diet and workouts have been like on point throughout this whole thing. I started intermittent fasting.
Yeah. What's your schedule for that?
I do the 12-8, so I only eat between noon and 8. And I'm keeping it.
I'm doing between 1 and 9, but I just still eat a bunch of garbage between 1 and 9.
And that's the thing. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I'm only doing 18 calories a day, or 1,800 calories a day.
18 calories. Yeah, I'm just breathing and I'm full.
Yeah, I walked past some cornflakes and I'm like, well, that's all I need.
Is it for The Machinist, to bring it back to movies, Christian Bale, to lose weight for The Machinist, he would eat 1 can of tuna and 1 apple a day. So it was like literally like a 300-calorie diet, and he would smoke like 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, there's crust punks who just call that Wednesday.
I know. You got to get on that diet, Ron.
Yeah.
I'm on keto, kind of. Like a little modified, because I just I eat like a suit, like probably between 20 to 25 grams of carbs a day, and then drink a lot on the weekends. But so far I've lost 30 pounds doing that.
Hell yeah.
Me, so. I'm really getting into fitness, such as in fitting this whole pizza in my damn mouth.
Shut the fuck up, dude. Jesus Christ.
I was waiting for it. I was so pumped for the applause to come back.
So movie theaters will be open in July. We're all gonna go. Who gives a shit? I'm gonna go see Tenet.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Looks so good.
Yeah.
Do it. You like the Nolan pictures, sir?
I do. I thoroughly enjoy Christopher Nolan's work. I think like my favorite work from him, I mean, aside from Dark Knight, has to be Inception. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, there's Memento. I get it. It's the OG.
Right.
I think it's aged well compared to everyone ripping that style and then him perfecting what he was doing. It got him out there.
Yeah.
But Inception with the cinematography, like everything about that is just top tier.
I think my next tattoo might be a Memento tattoo.
I mean,
yeah.
Is it going to be like one of the tattoos he got in the movie?
No, I considered that, but I want to get just like a blank Polaroid somewhere, and within the text bracket, just don't believe his lies.
That's
what you
rad.
should do, you should get a blank Polaroid right above your dick. And
yes.
When you bring women over, they can just draw a picture of themselves. Like
yeah.
I guess
That's
it would make more
fantastic.
sense if it was a mirror. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Just go, hey, nice to meet you. Can you write your name here real quick so I don't forget?
yeah.
All right, guys, another piece of movie news we got going on. Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
Still alive, as it turns out.
Wow.
According to Slash Film, Jennifer Lopez is going to play a crime boss in The Godmother, kind of based on the true story they made that documentary about, the Cocaine Cowboys. She was in that one. And it's going to be directed by Reed Morano, who directed The Handmaid's Tale and that movie, The Rhythm Section, that does not exist and no one saw.
Nope, sure doesn't.
Can't you think how much the people who made The Rhythm Section just wish they had released it like 2 months later and they could blame it on coronavirus?
Oh, dude. What about, here's the thing. The people who made the Goldfinch are looking at what happened right now and being like, you lucky motherfuckers.
Like Trolls World Tour, which is playing on 12 fucking screens in drive-in theaters, probably made more money than the Goldfinch.
Yes, I am the only American citizen who saw the Goldfinch in theaters.
What would you give it out of 10? Out of 10.
Probably a 2.
Okay. There are worse movies.
Yeah. No, maybe a 3. Maybe a 3.
Now-
I have never once watched a movie that has had so much beautiful and important and meaningful like imagery and story thrown at me, and I just absolutely do not care.
Well, you've never seen me do gay pornography, clearly. So
That's true.
there's that. What now? This movie's going to be written by William Monahan, screenwriter with a number of credits. Perhaps most relevantly here, he wrote The Departed.
Hey.
So that's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a really
That's-
good movie.
Really good.
Now, question for you guys: do you have an opinion whatsoever on Jennifer Lopez?
Take her or leave her. I like her in Hustlers.
Hustlers,
Yeah.
she fucking owns in. I saw that again recently, and the fact that she was not nominated for an Oscar is, I think, the number one problem facing the world right now.
No, and see, that's where we split. I really liked her in Hustlers. I didn't think she was like amazing. I thought I like even Oscar worthy. I'd say no. I mean, it was a good performance, but I didn't feel like it was anything remarkable.
I
guess.
rewatched Hustlers, and I liked it even more the second time.
Yeah.
Through. Part of it is it's like short. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an hour and 30 minutes.
It's short, and honestly, I think really the only problem I would say I would have with the movie is, I guess 3/4 of the way through, it does start to get repetitive. It just turns into find a guy, drug him, rob him, find a guy, drug him, rob him, find a guy, drug him, rob him, and it got to the point where it's like, okay, so where are we at?
Now, Billy, how do you
Yes.
feel about Jennifer Lopez?
Her peak performance was when she was co-starring with Matthew McConaughey. So anything,
The Wedding Planner?
yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I really don't care.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
I don't. Yeah, I really don't have too much
Mhm.
going for me with Jennifer Lopez.
But
I've never thought of her standing out or anything like in a movie. I'm just like, oh, I've never like, Jennifer Lopez is real good. Like it's just there.
But I want to go. I want to see this movie real bad. Maybe it's just because I want to see any fucking movie real bad. I just, goddamn, I got to leave the house.
Yeah.
But it seems exciting to me. I liked her in Hustlers, and it seems like she can, sink her teeth into this big meaty role, which is what I call my penis.
Classic.
Kaha.
You didn't give yourself the applause for that? Okay.
That's the
All right.
lag, baby. I gave
All
it.
right, all right.
I did it.
I call my penis the best boy and my left hand the key grip.
You'll get another one.
Yeah.
Dude, we're gonna wear that button out this
I
episode.
know. We're going real fucking crazy with it. It's still playing. I gotta do some better ones, such as that's good. No.
Come on, baby. You know you're the girl of my dreams.
That's a good one.
Also, I hate to be this guest, but I put in new batteries, and I guess I put in old ones, and my H1N1 has a cell left.
Oh,
So
okay.
I need to grab and flip them in. Just give me 2 seconds. I feel like
No
such
rush.
a schmuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
You can do that. Don't stress it out one bit. Me and Ron
Yeah.
will continue talking.
But you know what, Bella, get off the table. See, this is the thing of doing the podcast at my house. Now you all get me yelling at my dog.
Oh, it would have been great if you had gone, no, Bella is my wife. You dumb bitch.
You dumb, stupid, fat bitch.
Fucking dumbass
I
bitch.
swear to God. No, Bella, come here. Come here. Yeah, she was trying to get up on the table, and I think my roommate might have food over there.
What kind of dog is Bella?
She's a wiener beagle. She's
Mm.
9, and she's still as spry as the day I got her.
Oh,
She's a good
yeah,
sport.
9 is not a young dog.
No, but dude, she's still full of it.
I saw you brought her to an open mic once or twice, I would see.
I do, yeah. I when it's nice out, I would take her out every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
She's the goodest girl.
And comics would just like pet her and just sort of like lord over her and just fucking weird creeps.
But I couldn't like bring her out that much because it basically would like ruin sets. Like I wouldn't have a good set whenever I would bring her.
I thought it would fuck up other people's sets. She would like just run on stage.
Oh yeah, no, and she did do that a few times too. Which, and again, doesn't matter. Look, here's how comedy works: a dog just existing in that same room is infinitely more interesting than anything any stand-up comedian has to say.
God, yes, is that fucking true? It doesn't. And by the way, the open mics are full of all bad stand-up comedians. If you're listening to this, you've been at the open mics. I'm singling you out personally.
If you have ever done an open mic in your life.
I'm singling you out personally. Right. But even if it was a really good comedian like Louis C.K. or Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein, a really talented comedian, it would still fuck up the set because dogs are just so cute. You can't pay attention to someone just talking.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yep. You got the battery situation there, Billy? What's that saying? I can't read that.
Now loading.
Okay.
Now loading.
We're loading, baby.
We're loading.
Sorry, I am the worst.
It's all good, baby.
Yeah, technical shit happens. It happens to the best of us. And look, here's the thing. Yes, we get hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to do this podcast, obviously.
From the Koch brothers, yes.
And yes, maybe we should invest some of that into the production value of the podcast, obviously.
Wait,
are we going to do it? No.
No.
Not.
We are back. I'm rolling. I'm recording. So I'll send you both files.
That sounds good. Let's do another count in on this one just so we can have it.
Gotcha.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Beautiful. That's how we count in, everybody. I won't edit that out of the episode. I don't give a shit. This goes tomorrow.
Oh, I don't edit. With our podcast we've been doing for 3 years, we don't even have an intro song. We just call it a prison tape and keep moving.
You're with your podcast Come Town. How is that going along?
It's great. People love it. A lot of positivity. Too much tribute fan mail. Don't like that.
Now that is a terrible way to refer to his mustache, Ron. I don't know why. That's dumb. I got another piece of movie news, guys, and this is pretty big stuff. We were talking Christopher Nolan a second ago, right? So famously, and I don't know what the fuck it was, 2006, 2007, something like that. He rebooted the Batman series with Batman Begins, right? Now, a couple years before that, Darren Aronofsky, whose fucking dumb Polak name I'm not saying right, I'm sure, but whatever, Darren Aronofsky, he was hired by Warner Brothers to make a Batman movie, okay? And this was before the whole, shared universe, all that shit, whatever it is. They're just like, just make one Batman movie, do what you want. And that project fell apart. It never obviously came into fruition. And he recently revealed in an interview the number one problem they had with the movie. He wanted to cast Joaquin Phoenix as Batman, and the studio didn't want it.
That would have ruled.
Yeah, it would have ruled, but also I kind of get it.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix would have been a weird bat. He's a weird everything. There's no movie where Joaquin Phoenix fucking phones it in. Even Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot, which I kind of like, but is very forgettable. He is committed in that fucking movie.
Also, I think the cowl would have really hit his performance because he has so much power with his eyes.
That's a good point.
It kind of would have taken away from it.
And you know what? I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Not a great chin.
No, weak chin. And Batman with a cleft lip would look weird.
You need a good chin. That's like why Robert Pattinson, I'm excited about him doing Batman now. But he has a great chin. Joaquin Phoenix, not as much.
Yeah.
No.
But let me look
Collin is sharing his screen with us. Okay. Now Collin is Googling the gayest porn in existence.
So we've been doing Google Hangouts with friends and playing Quiplash. And I have just been like, all right, I'm going to get the game booted up, share my screen, and just put on Jetsons parody porn.
Hell yeah. That's fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, I just typed in B for bail and it just auto-filled bug chasing porn and just 22 minutes in, I gotta pee, so I'm gonna be right back. But keep recording because I want you, Billy, to talk. We're getting into the main thrust of this episode that we're doing right here. We're talking James Bond movies. Billy, Ron, what is your opinion on James Bond?
I love him very much. He shaped my childhood. He's for a lot of people, they had comic books and stuff like that. I had James Bond. So
See, that was my brother growing up. I'm a casual James Bond fan. I like the movies. I've seen a good amount of them and everything. But my brother had that like fascination with him when
Sure.
we were younger. See, he had like all the DVDs and like all the movies, and that's how I ended up seeing them. I think probably I'm more attached to shit like Goldeneye.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it just? Was it because of the game, or was it just because it came out at the right time for you?
Probably a mixture of both. I mean, I really enjoyed the game. But again, I was like a really casual fan of Bond. So like, I don't know if I were to get my first thing that comes to just my head when I think of James Bond is Goldeneye. And that's just me. But I do enjoy the movies. I've watched a lot of them. I watched a good amount of them. I think for my age group, it was like Pierce Brosnan was really our James Bond when I was growing up. Like for the most part. So it was shit like Goldeneye. What else did he do? What was the other one he was in?
He was in Goldeneye in 1995. Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997. The World Is Not Enough in 1999.
Die Another Day
in 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, all off the dome there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting in my apartment, and my wife got me for Christmas.
My wife
For Christmas and anniversary, an original "The Spy Who Loved Me" theatrical poster.
Now, I just want to let you guys know I do have that on the soundboard.
My wife. My wife. Do I make you horny, baby? Yes. My wife. My wife.
I have the utmost respect for women.
Anyway, I can do that all day.
I could just listen to that for an hour and a half.
Hell yeah.
What I do sometimes is I have the porn theme on here and I'll just DJ.
My wife. My wife.
Who is your dad? Who is your dad? Who is your daddy? And what does he do? And who is your daddy?
Do I make
And
you
what does he
horny,
do?
baby? Yes.
And what does he do?
My wife. My wife. My wife.
Now
Anyway.
that's what I call music.
That's perfect. That's beautiful.
So I'm losing my mind in quarantine. I don't know about you guys. but,
I think it sounds like you're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm excelling.
Yeah,
Dude,
you're saying.
you have a sweet soundboard.
I know.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
God,
You-
thank God I have a fucking podcast studio in my apartment. That has really helped with everything we need to do in this thing. I what do you think about James Bond, Ronald?
Like I was saying to him, I am a pretty casual Bond fan. My real connection to it is my brother had the big obsession with him when we were growing up. So he had all the DVDs or whatever, and that's how I ended up seeing a good chunk of them. And I was saying to him, probably if you were to ask me, if you were to say Bond, my closest thing would probably be the Goldeneye video game.
Oh yeah, we'll talk all about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just fucks so goddamn hard
That
to
game
this day.
rules. That
Oh
game
my
has
God.
so like outlasted the legacy of any of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies. Some of which are kind of good, I would even say, including
Yeah.
Goldeneye. I actually like Goldeneye, but that game is just levels above his legacy.
Like goddamn.
Oh yeah, 100%. But if you play that now, and if you play a lot of first-person shooters, it really does not hold up control-wise.
Really?
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure.
That's about it. The only thing, it's just like a nice blow on the cartridge and go down nostalgia lane. But
Right.
Do you play like with a port or do you play with the N64 controller?
with the N64 controller.
Yeah, I mean, it just probably advances in technology, you know, because I haven't really been much of a gamer in the past 20 or so fucking years, but I
No.
played the
Sure.
shit out of GoldenEye in like middle school. And if I did play it now, I probably would be like, oh, these graphics look like shit.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's rough, especially when you have the 3-prong going on the back of your 60-inch LED TV that does 1080p, 4K or whatever. It's
I
gonna look
think-
like dog shit.
I haven't been a gamer in a while. Should just translate that. I haven't been racist for a little bit. Just like
You're right. I said it wrong. I am a gamer into my very DNA. I
just
didn't
like
actually
a
play video
dude who's leaving the clan, just throwing his hood down and being like, I ain't gonna be a gamer no more.
You just leave the clan, you throw down your hood, your fucking torch, and your Final Fantasy VII strategy guide.
Just walk out with your controller plugged in.
So James Bond was created in 1952 by writer Ian Fleming, who was a former British naval intelligence officer in World War II. And like a lot of British soldiers, weirdly enough, in America, we tend to send the poor out to die. But in British, it's like upper class families. Like,
In British,
in Britain, whatever the fuck it is. He came from a very wealthy English banking family, so we can only presume he was a syphilitic pedophile.
I grew up in British.
That's me trying to fake an accent. I grew up in British. What part of it? Paris.
Right on Cogney Lane.
Yeah.
Do you know, in addition to writing James Bond, he also wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that wild? And that that was when was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a movie? Was that in the 70s as well, like mid 70s?
I think it was before that.
I think it was the 60s, although maybe I'm wrong
60s?
about that. Yeah. What the fuck was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Let me look it up right
Dude,
now.
that was a VHS classic in my house.
Same.
By the way, I just got a message you just heard, which is watch my pussy videos live on Snapchat. Click here. I'm gonna click here. Let's see what happens.
Colin, don't click it.
Share screen. Share screen.
He clicks everything. He clicks every virus sex ad that pops up on his
All right, so
computer.
I'm definitely gonna share the screen. It wants me to leave Facebook, which I probably shouldn't be doing.
Oh my god.
Yes.
As it says right here, watch my pussy videos live on Snapchat. Click here. This is from Ji Chung Ton Ah. I'm gonna ask, will you marry me?
Perfect. I love how the profile picture is just like a very stacked African American lady, and then the cover photo is an Asian lady in no clothes.
No, every other photo is an Asian woman.
Watch, but also they're fucking up the captions on the photos, because above a caption of what appears to be a Hispanic woman, above a photo of that is the caption, watch me horny ebony mom's porn video for free, girl alone, live sex and nude shows, click here.
That's amazing.
Rotor, please wait.
This is my favorite James Bond movie.
James Bond owns, man.
She said I've got to click here for pussy now.
when people do Bond, they still do Connery. I think he's kind of the most. I mean, he's definitely the
Because
most
he's just the
iconic Bond.
funniest. It's if you're gonna do, because we're just all comics, so
I think the funniest is Roger Moore, because he's like an old man.
yeah.
Yeah, he's ancient.
Yeah, he's so fucking old. The last movie he did, we'll talk about this when we get to him, but the last movie he did, he was older than the Bond girl's mom.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Salute.
Yeah.
Tanya Roberts, right?
Probably. I don't know. James Bond has been played by 6 different actors, 7 if you count David Niven in the spoof Casino Royale, in 27 different movies, which have earned a combined total of about $7 billion. Adjusted for inflation, close to $14 billion. It is the 4th highest grossing film series ever. Can you guys guess the first 3?
Star Wars, Avengers,
Star Wars is 2. Marvel is 1.
Lord of the Rings,
No. Third
Pirates
one
of the Caribbean.
No, that's pretty big too. The third one had 8 movies because they split the last one into 2 parts.
Harry Potter.
Hunger Games. Oh, damn it.
Nah, Harry Potter. And actually it has even more because they're including those Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beast shit, is the Wizarding World.
Yeah.
Read another book.
Real interesting about the Casino Royale from the 50s. They changed it so much, and it was
comedy, right?
No, that's the sorry, having a brain fart.
The book?
No, the casino, the TV show.
Oh, because I thought the Casino Royale with David Niven was the one with like Woody Allen and all that shit, but that's a different one.
There's another one. There was a
know
TV like a serial that was on in the late 50s, and his name was Jimmy Bond.
Hell yeah.
And he was a FBI agent instead of working for the British Secret Service.
Lame.
And
really later, his nephew in James Bond Jr. Did you guys ever watch that show as a kid?
What if Jimmy Bond was just like his cousin whose mom drank when she was pregnant?
My name's Jimmy Bond. I drink 4 Loko, shaken, stirred, don't give a fuck.
Now, if you excuse me, I need to go clean these toilets. They ain't going to do it themselves.
Yeah. If you excuse me, I got to go over to China and do some shooting. Nah, I don't work for the government or nothing. I just kind of,
Here's the real one. The next James Bond movie, he does need to infiltrate the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah.
We need a Juggalo Bond girl.
They use Fago to like fuel the next mega weapon that's going to destroy the world.
But did you guys watch James Bond Jr. back in the day? Is this I'm the only one remembering this?
I've seen it, yeah.
James Bond. He learned the game from his uncle James. Now he's here for something. I forget. It was like a 1-season cartoon show that my parents put on to avoid me talking to them for fucking 30 minutes. But I swear to God, it was real. Now, the James Bond film series is created by Eon Productions, a company started in 1961 by a man named Albert Cubby Broccoli, which just rules that in 1961 you could have a fucking nickname Cubby.
Albert Cubby Broccoli is my favorite jazz musician.
Now, here's what you got to know about Albert Cubby Broccoli. On his Wikipedia page, there is an entry called The Ted Healy Accident. Ted Healy was a comedian and creator of Three Stooges, and Albert Broccoli may have beat him to death outside the Tropicana.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
This was in like the 1950s, and there's not a lot of good reports on it, but we know this for sure. Albert Broccoli and Ted Healy got into a fist fight outside the Tropicana in Los Angeles in like 1951 or whatever the fuck it was. And Ted Healy died like a week later in the hospital from brain injuries. And we're not sure if that was a result of Albert Broccoli beating him or severe alcoholism, both of which are possible.
It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy behind the James Bond film series might have beaten to death the guy behind the Three Stooges.
It's a small world.
It's just a weird fucking world. So then after that, he left and went to London, partially for the tax breaks, partially maybe to avoid a murder charge.
Maybe it's for the tax breaks. Maybe it's to avoid a murder charge. I don't know.
Why did Cubby leave? Well, he beat to death the guy behind Three Stooges. Anyway, his movies are being subsidized by the British government now.
And don't ask why 2 of his fingers are broken.
Yeah, don't ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So he moved to London for tax purposes, and he bought the rights to the Bond thing from Ian Fleming, and him and another guy started Eon Productions, which have been behind everything. He died in 1996, presumably because fucking Curly came and shot him in the back of the head. No one kills my friend. But since 1996, his movies have been produced by his daughter Barbara and the family friend Michael G. Wilson, and by all accounts, like they really fucking keep a tight thing on all the Bond movies. They're really the people behind him, because you've had some different directors, like Christopher Nolan has always said he wanted to do a James Bond movie. Quentin Tarantino has long said he wanted to do it, and according to Pierce Brosnan, Quentin Tarantino cornered him at a party one time and drunkenly was like, fucking let me do a Bond movie. But the problem is that they won't have any control over it. The fucking Broccoli's will.
Right.
And Michael G. Wilson has been a part of the Bond franchise since I think Live and Let Die. Like he was a gaffer and then just worked his way up in the family.
Respect.
Can you imagine your name being Broccoli?
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't rich as she was, you just have the shit beat out of you all day.
Yeah, at least she wasn't named Zucchini. Hi, I'm Miss Zucchini. Nice to meet you.
I have the utmost respect for women.
That was supposed to be the applause button. Press the wrong button.
It still worked.
Yeah. Who doesn't have the utmost respect for women? So Christopher Nolan doing a Bond movie, I think would be kind of cool. And I think like Inception specifically, that last part of it, like in the snow, is him doing a Bond movie for all intents and purposes. Yeah. I have no idea what a Quentin Tarantino Bond movie would fucking look like.
No idea. And I don't think it would go over well just because of the way that he paces his movies. It wouldn't fit the structure that they've created over the past, 53 years or some shit.
How long it was. So the first Bond actor, and probably the most iconic, Sean Connery. The first Sean Connery. The first Bond movie ever. What was the first Bond movie ever, Billy?
Dr. No.
Yeah, it came out in 1962 and was named after a word women weren't allowed to say then.
No. Hit that applause button.
Not legally allowed. Wait, no, wrong one. Which one is it? It's
You're fired.
Oh wait.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Let's go.
Hello, Mr. Trump. It's an honor to meet you. I was wondering what you would say to President Obama.
You're fired.
I wish I liked anything half as much as Trump audiences liked him.
No kidding.
They love that fucking asshole. Anyway, Sean Connery, cool guy. Now, Dr. No, I don't think I've ever seen this movie. If I haven't, certainly it's been a long time. What's your opinion on the first Bond movie, Billy?
I think it's solid. I think it's tight. It's it sets up everything else perfectly. It was a nice jumping block. There were definitely oh my God, why am I blanking on the Bond girl in it? That's iconic when she comes out of the ocean. I mean, that's one of the best shots in all of Bond history.
Yeah, that's right. She walks up from the beach and just goes, "I'm gay."
Yep, yeah, that's the one. I think the person you're thinking of it was Harriet Tubman.
And Sean Connery and then Sean Connery was like, "Well, you're of no use to me."
And then he just
Guys.
punched her.
Yeah.
This morning I was watching Sunset Boulevard, a great classic movie, and when Norma Desmond goes in to meet Cecil B. DeMille, she goes, "I don't remember the last time I saw you. It must have been somewhere very gay." Laughed alone in a room, like meaning it was happy back in the 1950s.
You ever hang out at Shooters?
Was it Ursula Andress was the first Bond girl?
Like to go there on the weekend. The boys are pretty. Gay Sean Connery.
Gay Sean Connery. It was Ursula Andress. I'm smart and right about everything.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, 100% honest with you guys here.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the Bond movies. A lot of them have left my head. I am here for the sole purpose of doing silly Sean Connery impressions.
Here's the question: do you think you could beat Sean Connery in a fight right now? He's on
Absolutely.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
He was a tough guy. He was like a bodybuilder back in the day.
Was.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It was Ursula Andress.
Ursula Andress, yeah. He's 89 years old. Wow.
Yeah. I would dunk on that dude and
Listen.
then dunk on him again.
People magazine named him sexiest man alive in 1989 when he was 59 years old, and sexiest man of the century in 1999 when he was 69 years old. So 69.
Nice.
Hell yeah, very
The
very.
horniest age.
Yeah.
You guys seen The Rock?
Oh, yeah.
I
Rock
think
fucking
yeah.
owns. There's the sort of fan theory that's kind of fun that in The Rock he's playing James Bond because his character in The Rock is like a British Secret Service agent who is imprisoned in Alcatraz and he won't give up any information. And the movie fucks. It's Michael Bay's best movie. Michael Bay never made a bad movie. Certainly not 7 bad Transformers films, whatever the fuck it is. But anyway, gay Sean Connery. I think that's a sitcom coming to ABC Family soon.
It's going to replace the time block for Modern Family.
I'm gay. I'm Sean Connery, and I'm in a happy gay marriage with 3 adopted children.
I'm Sean Connery, and this is my husband, Pierce Brosnan.
Oh God, I'd love to see them have sex.
Yeah.
From the very first movie, Dr. No, they had a lot of the sort of elements that carried over. They had that jangly guitar theme, the famous band. The little like gun barrel sequence, that's in the beginning. Now, are M and Q, are they in Dr. No, or do they come in Diamonds Are Forever?
They come in from Russia with Love.
Okay, is that the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the second one there. But there was still like a sexy Bond girl and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Miss Moneypenny, when does she pop in?
I think she's in from Russia with Love as well.
Okay,
Right.
so that's the second one.
Right.
They
And
really-
that was the first Bond girl to keep spare change in her coochie.
That
Yeah.
Miss Moneypenny.
What was also great about Dr. No is Dr. No set the bar really high for villains. I think like his deadbeat performance, his chilling eyes, the kind
Yeah.
of robotic way he moved.
Now, they literally, I think I was reading this, Dr. No, because it was 1962 or whatever, they like taped his eyes back a little bit to make him look more Asian.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fucking rules.
Yeah, there's some really sketchy shit that went on in the 60s and 70s with those Bond movies.
I mean, up until like the 90s, the Brosnan ones, there's this like, you have to be more PC and you can't just like grab Moneypenny's fucking pussy right there. Because that was always the thing about Moneypenny is she's the secretary that he just openly harasses.
Right. And he's just like, oh, I'll take you on a date, but I got to finger you under your desk first.
Yeah. She goes, Bond, that normally you do some kind of like wordplay or something like that. And he goes, I'm drunk.
Yeah. I'm past the point of carrying.
Yeah.
I've got 40 days and then Pierce Brosnan takes over. I don't care at this point.
Mr. Bond, I have the dossier for you. I've got a dossier here for you. And he just starts jacking off
Yeah.
with this shit.
It wasn't me, it was Roger Moore.
Now, a big part of the Bond thing is also the songs, of course. And technically, the first big song, due to my research, I think this is true. Matt Monroe did a song for Diamonds Are Forever, but really the first big one was Shirley Bassey doing the theme for Goldfinger, which was,
Yeah.
which I have seen Goldfinger. That's the one where like he shits on the Beatles, right?
Yeah. And it's with, it has the classic line, I don't expect you to live, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking line. In there.
Which here's another fun fact with Goldfinger. Goldfinger is also a term that gay Sean Connery goes for while cruising at the gay bar.
We bend over and you give me a gold finger.
I'm trying to get Goldfingered.
What's so interesting about What's so interesting about Goldfinger is that I forget the actor's name who's the villain. His performance was so
Fidel Castro.
that's it. Nailed it. They couldn't understand what he was saying, so they had to go through and hire a voice actor to dub over his lines.
Oh, that rules. Who was it? Now, of course, Goldfinger is the one with the best Bond girl name of all time, which is, of course, do you remember it, Billy?
Pussy galore.
Pussy galore. And it's actually weird. Anna de Armas in No Time to Die is playing Bunch of Cunt. It's just stolen from Austin Powers with a lot of vagina. Remember that? That was the character. My name's a lot of vagina.
God. Yo, how was there a film character named Pussy Galore in a mainstream film in like what, 19?
Because in 1962, you could, in a weird way, get away with more because everyone had to pretend like they didn't know what you were talking about.
Right.
And also, women weren't people, so you could just be like,
right.
Pussy Galore. Honor, played by a character with the last name Blackman, by the way. Honor Blackman.
She just passed away like 2 weeks ago.
Damn.
Yes. Oh, she did in April 5th, 2020, 1994. Turns out, fucked to death.
Did she get, yeah.
Sean Connery trying to turn straight.
Yeah, I forgot I did that.
Oh, yeah.
That was me. I forgot. Yeah,
you know, it's crazy. Pussy Galore died from a prolapsed anus.
Because ironically, with all the pussy, they didn't have enough space for a proper anus.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they
turns out she was ironically named.
I don't know why I'm enjoying it so much.
I had to take a sharp U-turn on Devil's Valley.
Yeah.
But Sean Connery was in 5 James Bond movies. Then they hired George Lazenby, who was terrible by most accounts, and then they hired Sean Connery again. Let's go back, because there are those who defend Lazenby. Are you among those, Billy?
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was great.
What's his movie?
On Her Majesty's Secret Service, or from Her Majesty's Secret Service, or no, on Her Majesty's. Yeah, it's on. It's on. I mean, the guy, what was so crazy is he lied his way to getting into the part. The guy had never acted before. He was just a model.
Yeah.
When he went in to go audition, he went to the same barber as Sean Connery. He went to the same tailor as Sean Connery just to look just like him to fool these people.
So he was the original Dan Ninen.
Yeah. You bet you're wondering what race this guy is anyway. He actually is, weirdly enough, up to this point, the only person born outside of the United Kingdom, because Pierce Brosnan was Irish, so technically he wasn't British. But George Lazenby was born in Australia, as a matter of fact. So he really did have a weird ethnicity and was subhuman.
Right. Yeah, he's actually a lizard person.
Yeah, that's how that works. But apparently he's good, but he was kind of a dick to work with by most accounts of it. The director of the one Bond movie, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, said about him.
Maybon?
Probably. Let me pull this up here. See if
What's the one where he gets married and then the car explodes?
That one.
It's that one?
Is that one?
Yeah,
The director's name, which is very funny to me, is Peter Hunt.
Yeah. Peter directed, I think, 4 other Bond movies as well.
Oh, yeah, he did direct a bunch of them. That's true. He said about George Lazenby, we wanted someone who oozed sexual assurance, which is great return of phrase. And we think this fellow had that. Just wait till the women see him on screen. Now, I am not saying he is an actor. There is a great deal of difference between an actor and a film star. Didn't they find Gary Cooper when he was an electrician? So that kind of was unnecessary to shit on him like that.
Yeah, a little too much.
But like Diane Rigg is the Bond girl in that one.
Teresa.
She was like, he came onto set and wanted to rewrite the script and tell us what to do, and he'd never been in a movie. So I think he kind of came in because he was like a hot dude, and like a lot of hot dudes who get a lot of pussy. We tend to be a little domineering, you know?
Right. It's my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Constantly.
I wouldn't know anything about that. Not a problem one of my stature has to deal with.
Now, Lazenby only did that one, and he declined other Bond movies afterwards and didn't really seem to like acting all that much. He kind of did some bit parts in like various foreign things, and he still would pop up in things. But since the 1970s, he's just been like selling real estate in England.
Yeah.
Damn. Respect.
Well, he also got super into psychedelics. That was his big
nice.
thing.
Respect.
Exactly. It was the 70s. Like, why not? He said he was doing LSD every day. He was participating in orgies at least twice a week. And he was getting ready to show up to the premiere, and everyone's like, You need to shave your beard, dude. You look like a hippie. He like had long hair, big beard. And he was like, nope, I'm going to show up like this. And he did. And they're like, well, should we fire him? He was like, actually, I'm going to quit. So fucking eat my ass.
I think we can safely say George Lazenby fucked all of our moms.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If he didn't, Sean cleaned up the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Sean Connery fucked our dads.
Yeah.
He for sure fucked my grandpa. Like,
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
he hasn't walked straight since 1968. So
That's that. By the way, Joe Biden needs to run on that platform. It rhymes. It works. Haven't walked straight since 1968.
Missiles weren't the only thing your grandpa was packing on that Navy cruiser. I can't even. That was like a New Orleans accent for some
Straight
reason.
up, if tomorrow Joe Biden comes out and goes, I'm running on a platform of Sean Connery fucked me in the 1970s,
Yeah.
I'll vote for him. If people want to ask, how do you get the Bernie voters? 100. That's what you got to say.
What if that's what he does to deflect from his allegations?
What if
Like that's his Kevin Spacey
I am also a
moment.
victim as well. I was raped by Sean Connery.
Sean Connery to this day.
also, I mean, Joe Biden could just deflect by saying, I don't remember it because he probably doesn't.
No, I mean, yeah, Joe Biden could just go, I might have raped someone. I might be raping someone right now. What? Fuck you.
I don't know. I don't have feeling in most of my toes.
Yeah. Now somebody tell me what's red? The thing I've been hearing so much about.
The crucial thing to a Biden impression is you have to, like, by the third sentence, be angry and tell someone to suck your dick and vote for the other guy.
Yeah, well, and you have to call them some kind of like weirdly deformed hick insult, like
It's not. Listen, let me tell you something, you goddamn dog-faced pony soldier. Fuck you.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, let me just tell you something, you cornbread cracker. I'm gonna come get you and braid your leg hair.
I feel like Joe Biden calls people Charleston chews. Like, that sounds like an old racial slur.
That sounds like what Joe Biden like secretly calls gay people.
Yeah. Oh, God. You know, Pete Buttigieg, he met him, and he goes, I only have one brain cell, and I can tell this guy is a real Charleston Chew.
Yeah.
So after Connery came back for one movie after Lazenby, what was the one movie Connery did after Lazenby, however you say that guy's name?
George Lazenby. It
George
was
of the Jungle.
Yep, that was
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Throw your diamonds in the sky if you're feeling the vibe.
That's true. Have you ever heard Arctic Monkeys does a great cover of that? And Arctic Monkeys, Alex Turner has long said he wants to do a James Bond theme, and they need to fucking let him do it.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, what else? What do we get this time? Billie Eilish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about
Yeah.
that.
That
Yeah.
should bang.
Yeah.
Now, the next one to come out, to the next Bond after Connery and Lazenby, was Roger Moore, and he's tied with Connery for the most Bond films. He's done 7. Now, Connery, that's kind of with an asterisk, because one of those is, of course, Never Say Never Again,
Right.
which is a Bond movie but was not made by Eon Productions, although they've since bought it. It's a whole fucking weird legal thing with all that shit.
It's not the only thing I've tied Roger to, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, are we going to go over that whole legal thing with?
Yeah,
with
we can
that?
kind of talk about it now as the last Connery movie. So it was 1983, and he had famously said after Diamonds Are Forever, "I'll never do it again." And so that's why they called it Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
And what would you kind of know the details of that legal drama that led to Never Say Never Again?
Yeah, they were in legal troubles, and they brought on a third producer for Thunderball.
Yes.
And so, eventually he just backed out, but he's like, I want the rights to Thunderball. And he's like, yeah, you can have the rights to the story, whatever, or the book. He's like, you can have the rights to the book. Fine, whatever. And so in 1983, the guy was just like, it's been long enough. I can actually make this movie again and make it the way I want to. So he did that and just paid Sean Connery a boatload of money. And they just made it with Warner Brothers, I believe.
I think so. It was definitely another company. And
Yeah.
so they took them to court. The Broccoli's took them to court and tried to sue them up to production of the movie. And they managed not to. They managed to get production of it done. Because it was a weird thing where they're like, well, don't we own rights to James Bond, the character? It's like, yes, but you don't. I don't know. It was a whole thing.
If you
Because
say,
he's in the story.
if you tell somebody that you're being sued by Broccoli, that just sounds like a weird Chinese B movie ripoff.
That's, again, what Joe Biden's going to say at the next debate. He's being sued by Broccoli.
Yeah.
Is Never Say Never Again any good?
Joe Biden thinks the B movie is a documentary. And you got a bee, so in humanity, you can't have the bees. It make no sense.
Fuck you. Now, is Never Say Never Again, do you think it's better? Because it's basically a remake of Thunderball. I mean, it is, literally. Is it better than Thunderball?
Yeah, it's faster paced. There's less underwater scene bullshit. and Kim Basinger makes a great Bond girl.
I'm sorry. I'm cracking myself up over Joe Biden telling people to vote for Jill Stein or whoever the Green Party candidate was.
He doesn't fucking know. Howie Hawkins this year.
Yeah.
But he's just going around like, fuck you, Ross Perot voter. Suck my dick.
Yeah. Fuck you. Vote for Nader if you want to. All right? I don't care.
Now, Roger Moore's first Bond movie was Live and Let Die in 1973, which I might say, I'm going to put it up there, best James Bond song.
It's solid. I think that's the popular choice.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, that's number 3. Number 2 is The Living Daylights by Aha.
Okay.
And number 1, A View to a Kill by Duran Duran.
Which is, and we'll talk to it later, we get to the Dalton, but that's the only one to ever hit number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 charts, weirdly enough.
Yeah. My favorite Bond theme is probably Pussy Monster by Lil Wayne.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was the theme for Die Another Day. Totally forgot.
Now, do you know the last James Bond movie? Oh no, A View to Kill actually was not Dalton. That was Roger Moore. I'm being
Roger Moore in 1983.
Yes, that was the last one that he did, and was Moonraker is the one which is kind of like the Moore Bonds were like kind of sillier and lighter, right?
They took over time. They became that way because he was taking more control of the role and the writing and everything. With Live and Let Die, he was trying to figure everything out. It kind of feels like a Connery movie. The Man with the Golden Gun, he's starting to drift away from that, and he really builds into his own. And the character is finally his in The Spy Who Loved Me, which is my favorite Bond movie. And Roger Moore is my favorite Bond.
That's not a common position. I think maybe Brosnan is the one people say is the shittiest Bond, or Dalton, although I think everyone kind of says the Bonds are good. There's no real one agreement that someone's bad at it.
Who is Joe Biden's favorite Bond?
Joe Biden, it's Gold Bond, who he is a black person who threatened him with a switchblade in 1932.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Gold Bond, that guy I marched with over that bridge one time.
Yeah. And that's it. I remember I told him, I said Gold Bond, and that's what I called Barry back in those days.
And that's what I know and what I call. And the point is, I fought against segregation. Definitely shouldn't have segregation. And I got 70% of the black vote. So America's a cool country that is definitely not collapsing. I don't know. Roger Moore is your favorite Bond. Now, that I do feel a lot of people, especially towards the end, they're like, man, he was too fucking old for it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he was 58 at the time they shot A View to a Kill. And when it came out, he was 59 years old. But the problem was that the Broccoli's convinced him to come back, and they gave him so much money to come back.
Which they kind of always do that. Like they did that with Daniel Craig for this last movie. He very famously, after the last one, was like, I'm going to slit my fucking wrist. I don't play James Bond anymore. And they go, hey, how would you like to pay for a lot of goods and services? And he said, sure.
Yeah, here's $100 million. Shut the fuck up.
Imagine. Now, I think Moonraker might be the most famous of the Moore Bonds. It's a very silly movie where he goes to space.
It's so bad. It's like embarrassingly bad.
Really?
They were just trying to capitalize on what Star Wars. They're like, fuck it, let's put him in space. And the book is very different from the movie. Which mostly are.
It's Sean Connery trying to escape from the homophobia of Earth.
Now
to go to the moon.
Well, what was so great about Moonraker and how ridiculous and dumb as fuck as it was, it made them go backwards and ground him again in For Your Eyes Only, which is a severely underrated Bond movie.
Now, to go back to Moonraker, Ron, you're going to love this. Do you know the name of the Bond girl in Moonraker?
No, I never saw that one.
Got it. Dr. Goodhead.
Dr. Holly Goodhead is the name of the Bond girl.
You know, like, these aren't movies. These are like...
Sean Connery goes, Dr. Goodhead. He goes, thank God, I love it. Dr. Holly Goodhead. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be passing on that.
The best is when she says her name and he turns and Roger Moore does the famous eyebrow lift. And he just goes, and nods his head and just walks like, everything's fine. This is normal.
I do like getting my dick sucked by women 30 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Now, how do you like your hair being pulled?
Yeah, he's
God damn it, James, you've got to get your dick sucked in space. Now, I don't want to hear another word about it.
Now, A View to Kill, here's a quote from the Washington Post, the review at the time, where they said, Roger Moore isn't just long in the tooth. He's got tusks, and what looks like an eye job has given him the pie-eyed blankness of a zombie. He's not believable anymore in the action sequences, even less so in the romantic sequences.
He's in space.
Yikes.
It's
That's
James
Moonraker.
Bond in space.
That's Moonraker. By the time they got to, that was like the 70s, but it was only a couple years before. I don't know. What's your opinion on A View to Kill?
Okay. Well, here's some interesting things that we skipped. Never Say Never Again came out the same year as Octopussy. They launched on the same day. And
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and Octopussy made twice as much money as Never Say Never Again.
Damn.
It destroyed at the box office.
That's crazy. What a stupid idea to release two James Bond movies in this. What just corporate big dick nonsense. Bless their hearts.
Yeah, fucking moron. The moxie on those bastards. What's also interesting is the last time James Bond intentionally murdered someone while being played by Roger Moore was in For Your Eyes Only, when he kicked the henchman who was in a car off the side of a cliff. And he walked and he looked over to the director and went up to the Broccolis and was just like, I'm never doing that again. I'm done killing people. They need to find ways to kill themselves. I'm a pacifist. I'm over this. I'm done playing this role. If you're going to make me keep playing this, I'm not doing it this way. That's just not going to happen.
Just the Broccolis seem to really hate finding a new James Bond, which is weird because it's so exciting to everybody else, but they seem to hate it.
Right. They hated it so much. And like Roger Moore always took a stand on being a good person. Like in The Man with the Golden Gun, when he hits one of the Bond ladies for information, they called cut, and he went into the side of into the corner of the set and started crying. And everyone's like, what's your deal? He was like, I don't want to hit women. That's not a good thing to do. I don't like it. If you make me do it again, I'm going to fucking walk off this set. Don't ever make me hit a woman again. They're like, okay, you got it. So he was just like a good person while playing a chauvinistic pig and made
Connery
it
hit
classier.
A lot of women in his Bond movies.
Oh, Sean Connery got interviewed in Playboy, and he said,
I remember this.
and he said sometimes you just need to hit them around. They need to learn a lesson.
Yeah, no, that's what he's at. Sean Connery isn't gay because he's attracted to men. Sean Connery is just gay because he hates women so much.
He's fucking a guy, and he goes, this is disgusting, and I want to vomit, but it's the only way I can properly get my vengeance.
Yeah.
Sean Connery was the first guy to ever beat the pussy up, you know?
Literally.
Yeah.
But specifically the last one, A View to Kill, what do you think about this picture?
Okay. If you really break it down, if I were to just give you the details of this movie and I say, okay, the theme song is from Duran Duran.
Yes.
The villain is Christopher Walken. The henchman is Grace Jones. Right, is Grace Jones. You would be like, holy shit, this sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, oh, all of the villain's sidekicks, there's henchmen. Not only is Grace Jones one, but there's 4 other ladies, and they're all genetically created.
Mm-hmm. That rule.
That is awesome. Hold on, sorry, I'm getting work texts. Damn it.
No stress. But also, a couple of things about this. David Bowie almost played the bad guy in this. He was like cast and announced.
Yeah.
And at the last moment, he left, and the quote he said, he goes, I don't want to spend 5 months watching my stunt double fall off a cliff.
Yep.
Makes sense. And also another little interesting piece of casting, Dolph Lundgren was dating Grace Jones at the time. And so that's his first movie role, is just like kind of an extra, a little bit more than extra, but he doesn't have any lines, I don't think.
No.
In that fucking movie.
No, but it's just such a bad script. They had like most of these Bond movies, if you break them apart, you look like, this is such an interesting idea, but the follow through is terrible. And the like, if you look up to it until the, I don't know, probably the Goldeneye era, there's only 3 different cinematographers and like 5 directors for that many movies so far. So they all look the fucking same. They have the same screenwriters. Like, it's just like they're just so by the numbers and don't explore these cool ideas, and it kind of makes them bland.
Well, and that's why they would make them so quickly. Like when we get to Daniel Craig, we'll say that he has made, I think this is his 5th one, but he's been Bond for the longest time. It's been like 14 years. Because back in the day, they were just fucking shooting him out like once a year, once every 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Now it's like, I mean, the first like 5 of them were once a year. The first 5 like Connery ones. And now they wait like 3 or 4 years between them to actually make them good. They didn't have to make movies good.
They just had to keep putting them out.
That was what mattered. So then
people would watch garbage because that was just it. You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, right. You couldn't just call someone gay on Twitter, and that was a fun thing to do that day.
Yeah, you had 5 networks and then the movie theaters. Like
Yeah.
who gave a shit? As long as it was bright and flashing in people's faces, they were dumb enough to eat it up.
I mean, we didn't let black people into sports or entertainment until like the 1950s. So you imagine how fucking shitty both of those things were.
Yeah, and I have some opinions about that. I think it was too soon. No.
Speaking of watching shitty things, I rewatched Aquaman the other day, and I forgot that Dolph Lundgren was in it. Why is he in that movie? Why is Dolph Lundgren and Willem Dafoe?
Here's the better question:
the Aquaman movie.
Why are Dolph Lundgren and Willem Dafoe not in every movie?
That's a fair question.
Very valid.
We need a remake of The Lighthouse, and I'm realizing Willem Dafoe's already in The Lighthouse, so we're halfway there.
Yes.
Remove Pattinson and put Dolph Lundgren in The Lighthouse.
Absolutely.
Actually, you just have Willem Dafoe in his Green Goblin costume in The Lighthouse.
Yes.
That owns. But switch the roles, because I just want to make Dolph Lundgren try to do that monologue.
Yeah.
or Poseidon. Now, Timothy Dalton, considerably younger, sexier than Roger Moore. He was like a British theater guy, so he was kind of like a serious, intense dude.
Yeah, he was this classically Shakespearean trained actor.
Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on his? He only made 2.
You know what sucks is that The Living Daylights was by the numbers. Like they both are. They look. Well, that one's more by the numbers. It was a mix of what Brosnan became and what Roger Moore was. Like they were in that weird gray area. So The Living Daylight's a little campy. License to Kill is in my top 5. It's one of my favorite Bond movies.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason Timothy Dalton didn't get to stay Bond is for the thing I said earlier. It's the same goddamn director of most of the Moore movies, John Glenn, same director of photography. So they have this. So License to Kill has this edge to it, but it just still looks like a classic Moore movie. So it's kind of lost in translation.
Now, a couple things about who they wanted after Roger Moore. So they looked to a couple different people, and everyone in Eon Productions wanted Sam Neill to play James Bond. Do you know Sam Neill?
Yeah, from Jurassic Park.
Amongst other things. Everyone wanted him except Albert Broccoli. He was the only one who said, no, we can't do it. And consequently, he didn't fucking get the gig. But they looked at a couple other people, including Mel Gibson, who would have been the first American-born James Bond, even though he grew up largely in Australia because his father is a fucking nutbag who just took them all to Australia.
Yeah.
Do you know the story of how Mel Gibson ended up in Australia?
I'm going to guess it was some kind of bondage thing.
It's wild. So his dad is like a crazy Catholic, one of those people who's like Vatican II. The Catholic Church got too liberal in the 1960s, and he won a bunch of money on a game show. And so he took the whole Gibson family to Australia with his game show earnings just so he could live in the outback and not be bothered by the government.
That rules.
And his father is still alive. He is literally like 102 years old. He's so fucking old.
Evil don't die.
Well, here's the thing. Mel Gibson went on Joe Rogan like 2 years ago, and clearly they had been like, you can't talk about the fact that I am a raging anti-Semite with a drinking problem. And all they talked about was stem cells, which is what's keeping his father alive. They're literally taking Mel Gibson's father to Mexico to inject him with illegal stem cells.
That sounds about right. That sounds like something Bezos does every 3 hours.
I'm sure he fucking does. But yeah, Mel Gibson's dad is a hardcore anti-Semite who hates the Jewish people, but thinks the Holocaust never happened and the 6 million Jews just moved to New York.
Well, I mean, it's not crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a cool guy, and he's going to be our guest on next episode.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect.
He is going to be the next president of the United States.
You know, we can only get funnier.
You know who else is on your list that should be on your list? I don't know if you have it. Is Pierce Brosnan.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll talk about the Pierce Brosnan thing once we get to Pierce Brosnan. Okay. But he was more than the list. They gave him the fucking role. But we'll talk about that.
Okay,
The other person who was on that was Lambert Wilson, who's French and later played the Merovingian in the Matrix sequels. Apparently, they looked at him. I don't know how seriously they kind of fucking did. But
their brother's like, no.
Whenever they have to find a new Bond, they look at a lot of people, obviously, because they tend not to go with like established big actors, you know?
Sure.
But then he does 2, Dalton, and he was going to do a third one. He was signed on for 3, and they had a script. They were looking at directors, including apparently John Landis. They considered having him direct it. But the third Dalton never got made because there was like this weird legal thing involving Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, who Eon Productions had an exclusive distribution deal with. They went bankrupt, and then they like got bailed out by this French company who wanted to sell the Bond distribution rights. But then the Broccoli's took them to court saying it would violate their contract, and it was a whole fucking thing. And so between the last Dalton and the first Pierce Brosnan was 6 years, which is the longest gap they've ever had for James Bond.
Yeah. And also, License to Kill tanked at the box office. The audiences did not like Timothy Dalton.
Was that the one? Or no, Walken was the bad guy in the fucking last Moore movie, right?
Yeah. The villain in, oh man, the lineup for License to Kill, the villain was Robert Davi.
Oh, I love Robert Davi.
And the henchman was Benicio del Toro. It was his first movie.
This. Now, do you know Robert Davi is a big talking in his car about Trump guy now?
Oh, that rules. I need to follow him on Instagram.
Damn.
He's on YouTube. He does a lot of videos like, Mr. Trump, you are saving the country from the goddamn Democrats who want to poison us.
See, look at all these Lysol wipes I just bought. I can't wait to wring them out in my butthole.
Yeah.
One of the best skulls in history. Now, you also know that in addition to being a actor and a Trump car guy, he's also a singer, and he has an album called Davi Sings Sinatra on the Road to Romance.
Whoa.
That's tight.
I want to get him on the fucking show. He rules.
It's probably pretty easy. I mean, he's on Cameo, so just email his agent.
Do you know, I was looking into this Cameo. Apparently, if you're a celebrity and you're on Cameo, you just like wake up and you get this request and you record the video for them, but there's no function to go back and erase the video. So apparently there are Cameo videos on the website of Snooki from Jersey Shore just going like, hey, happy birthday, Stephanie. Oh, wait, shit, that's not your name. I'm sorry. Email Cameo. They'll give you a refund. And that's the end of it.
Hell yeah.
That's tight.
That's so
awesome.
cool. But you're saying audiences did not like the Timothy Dalton Bonds?
No, because think about how you go from Roger Moore, who ended up just being a Three Stooge in License to Kill and was so campy. I mean, the guy had a fucking shotgun with sand in it. That's how much he didn't want to kill people.
What a loser.
So you go from that to a guy who plays a hardened Bond, a guy who's seen some shit and gone through stuff and has a tough layer and is brutal.
And is more based on the books, apparently, which is kind of true of Daniel Craig's Bond as well. In both cases, they went back to the books where he's not like a suave guy. He's kind of just like a fucking asshole blunt instrument.
Exactly. But, I mean, if it wasn't for Timothy Dalton and what he did, you would not have Daniel Craig. There's just no way.
Now, as you alluded to before, Pierce Brosnan was hired to play James Bond after Roger Moore. He was signed on to do it, but he was on a TV show called Remington Steele. And when they announced the news that he was going to play James Bond, people started watching Remington Steele. And so the network exercised a clause in his contract to make him do another season of Remington Steele, which conflicted with the shooting. And so he was let go.
Yeah. It was like an hour before like they renewed the season. Like he was getting ready to walk on stage. He was in a suit. Like, this is your next James Bond. And then they're like, actually, sorry, buddy. You have to go back to network television.
Fuck, that sucks for him, man. Also, Pierce Brosnan's wife,
but you know what? It's
steadily gotten fatter, which is cool.
Pierce Brosnan, like the whole reason he got that is because his wife was a Bond girl in For Your Eyes Only. So he was just hanging around he was just hanging around the set and became friends with Roger Moore. And they were like talking like, man, you should play Bond after me. He's like, you know what? I think I will. Now,
he's Irish, and Ron, you have said the Irish are subhuman, correct?
Probably once or twice.
Probably come up.
Yeah.
That was like
I don't remember it, but I don't doubt it.
I don't know. That's true. Well, that was a big thing in the 80s, obviously, is like the Irish, an Irish guy being James Bond, because there's always been tensions between the Irish and the English, and, with the Troubles and then the tea and whatnot. And so having him eventually. What's up?
All I'm saying is if you get wiped out because you lose one food.
That's a good point. That's the old joke. You know how many potatoes it takes to kill an Irish person? 0. Oh, wait, no, I was the wrong button again. God damn it. I pressed the wrong button.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
It gets me every time.
That's the best drop.
That's the bits. So Pierce Brosnan starts in 1996 with Goldeneye. Like we were saying, Goldeneye, pretty good movie. I like Goldeneye, but the video game is definitely another fucking level.
Yo.
Yeah.
Get you some boys, you hit a Blockbuster, maybe a 2-liter, maybe a personal pizza.
Ooh, now you're speaking my language.
So sad because literally none of our lives will ever be that good again.
No, ever.
That's the hype. Now, there's a lot of cool shit in Goldeneye. The introduction of Judi Dench as M, she fucking kills it. Sean Bean's very cool as the villain. Alan Cumming is very funny. And Famke Janssen is not the Bond girl. She's like the henchman.
Yeah. Xenia Onatopp.
Yeah, and she like smothers dudes with her pussy or something.
Yeah, she uses her thighs to like cut the fucking air from coming in their body. She strangles them with her thighs. How about that? That's a better way to say that.
I want to die next to pussy. I want to die so bad. Only next to pussy.
Dude, it's so wild the first time you see her do it. It's like with the guy who's in charge of the naval boat, the naval vessel that has the helicopter that they steal. He's just railing her on top, and she just snaps her thighs, and you hear his back break, which is so
honestly
bad.
Honestly, I'm just trying. I just want what they have.
No doubt. Now, it's been said that Pierce Brosnan was, quote, the only good Bond to never get a good script. I forget who says that, but I read it somewhere. I will kind of stand for Tomorrow Never Dies. I like Tomorrow Never Dies. I like Jonathan Pryce as the villain. What do you think about Tomorrow Never Dies?
I think it's a great concept. It's a killer concept, but it's terribly paced. There's huge plot holes.
The media tycoon is the bad guy of this whole thing.
Right, that he's setting up World War III so he can cover it exclusively. That's a cool idea, but it seems like they just scratched the surface with that. They're just like, okay, really cool idea, but let's have James Bond turn his BMW into a remote control car.
That's silly.
We'll do that. We'll do that for 20 minutes instead of developing the character and why the villain wants to do this more and give him more depth. So
I just rewatched the Brosnan Bonds and the Craig Bonds like a couple weeks ago. And because, I grew up with the Brosnan ones. That was the one when I was a kid. I don't know about you guys, but it's always, he was the one. Yeah. And I saw Tomorrow Never Dies, and I didn't like it as much. Michelle Yeoh kind of fucking owns, but Roger Spottiswoode directed it, who is just a boring director. It's just not a very interesting conceptually a movie. And then I think World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day are real hard to defend, man. Those are fucking clunkers.
Oh, those are steaming piles of shit.
There is some cool like set pieces, like Die Another Day, that set piece at like the fucking Icelandic ice hotel or whatever the hell it is exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, there's cool ideas and cool stuff, but as like actual whole movies, they do not fucking hold together.
No, and I remember seeing that as a kid in 2003 in the movie theater, and Pierce Brosnan is paragliding on a 50-foot wave and just catching ice chunk to ice chunk and just trying to get away. I remember holding my head down and grabbing my eyes and just going, why? Why did you CGI James Bond?
And, Pierce Brosnan agrees with you. In 2018, he did an interview where he said, I was never that good. I was caught between Sean Connery's Bond and Roger Moore's Bond, and it was only really in Goldeneye that I got to do my take on the character. But I love the irony of being an Irishman playing this quintessential English character, and I love what it did for me as an actor. And I think that's actually very self-aware. I think he's right.
Well,
I stole a lot of potatoes from craft services. So that was very nice.
I kind of disagree with his statement. I feel like he became his own in Die Another Day. Like he slowly made the character. But in Goldeneye, if you put the matured Bond from Die Another Day in Goldeneye, it would have been an even better movie. But he just kept getting shit scripts and terrible stuff to work with. And the other way that he's described it as, he says, I don't remember shooting those other Bond movies. They were all a blur.
And I wonder why that is. I wonder why the Irishman can't remember shooting all these movies. I wonder why these big periods of time are a blur to this Irishman.
It's because he was busy getting his wife pregnant 9 times.
Yeah.
Over the course of 5 years. It was also...
there was a movie they were going to do with him based on his 9 kids. It's called Never Pull Out Again.
Yeah.
All right, definitely got to make sure I'm getting the right cue on this one here, guys. Definitely got to make sure I'm getting the right one.
I got it.
There you go. Did it.
Yeah.
Baby,
Yeah.
you know you're the girl of my dreams.
Okay, not quite there. The Brosnan ones also had like just kind of came at a weird time geopolitically because it was after the fall of the USSR.
Columbine.
It was right after Columbine.
Right after the fall of the Columbine.
It was weird in World Is Not Enough when he goes up to Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris and goes, "You two don't have the balls to do shit." But it's after
James, the robbers are in the school. You have to go in the school. Very poorly timed scene to have.
But obviously, James Bond is such a Cold War era creation. And so after kind of the fall of the USSR, America, or in Britain, sort of the West, or the never eat shredded, the West. I had to, in my head, figure out what direction we were. The West didn't really have like a villain in the same kind of way. And then after 9/11, it sort of became, whatever. And, Daniel Craig, even if it doesn't necessarily like attack jihadists, the notion of like a murky moral kind of world is part of it. But, it's just a weird time geopolitically. I don't know.
Well, exactly. Like, I mean, in Goldeneye, Judi Dench has the line of, "You're a relic of the Cold War, a dinosaur."
Mm-hmm.
And they even address that. But it seems like after that movie,
sounds like something a communist would say.
I feel like the writers just phoned it in. They're like, fuck it. I don't know. Make him own a newspaper. Or, I don't know, let's just get Denise Richards to play a doctor for some reason because we're idiots.
Well, a Dr. Christmas Jones is her name, which is a sillier name than Holly Goodhead.
Yes.
It is. But then there's the line at the end of The World Is Not Enough where he says, well, Christmas does come twice a year.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Which he improv'd.
He improv'd that?
Yep.
While he was actually fucking her, probably.
Yeah. Well, he was deep in Richards.
Yeah.
Denise Richards is on the newest season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's one of the Real Housewives. And my girlfriend plays it in the background while I call her stupid and tell her she's inferior for liking it. But there's just this big thing where, like, I saw some clip where the other housewives are like, oh, a Bond girl is kind of coming here and she thinks she's shit just because she's a Bond girl. And I'm like, it is pretty cool that she's fucking a Bond girl. But let's talk about the most recent James Bond. Because in my opinion, don't at me, bro, I think Daniel Craig is the best Bond of all time. I'm going to say it.
He's great.
I think he's awesome. Now,
I've not seen any of the Daniel Craig films.
I don't
seen Skyfall?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Now, it's also because I think it's not just Daniel being great, but Daniel has gotten, Roger Deakins to be his DP. He's been directed by Sam Mendes. He was directed by Martin Campbell. I mean, he's gotten great direction, great scripts, great
Martin
directors.
Campbell did Goldeneye too, and he did Goldeneye and Casino Royale, both of which are very well directed movies.
Right. They look like real movies instead of just being Bond movies.
That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. After Pierce Brosnan stepped down after Die Another Day, they auditioned 200 different actors for the role, including Sam Worthington, who I think is bad at acting and not an interesting person on screen.
Yeah, I think he's just as bland as all the green screens in Avatar.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Con Connery, and I'm auditioning for the role of James Bond.
He was, yeah.
I like sex with women.
The famous story, and I don't know if this is true, but it's been alleged that Sean Connery turned down Morpheus in The Matrix, and then he turned down Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, and they both became huge hits. And he goes, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I got to take the next thing they offer me. So he agreed to do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which bombed hard, and he goes, fuck this, I retire.
That was the first movie I fell asleep during in the movie theater.
That's understandable. But they auditioned 200 different actors for the role, including Sam Worthington. But according to director Martin Campbell, there are only two serious contenders, which was Daniel Craig and Henry Cavill, as a matter of fact. And Henry Cavill was only 22. And so they wanted Bond to be young, but they didn't want him to be that young. So they went with Daniel Craig, who had mostly done he was in Munich, and he had done some like Guy Ritchie shit and stuff like that. He's a good actor.
He is, but who I really wanted back during that, I think would have killed the role was Clive Owen.
Oh, he would have been great.
He would have been dynamite.
And a lot of people said that, but according to Clive Owen, they never asked him. He never, but I'm sure, they floated the idea around somewhere.
Sure.
I'm just really bummed. I'm just saying. Well, I'm just really bummed we'll never get a Philip Seymour Hoffman Bond movie.
Just hand on the hip,
Yeah.
Bond.
sweating.
God damn it! Can I? Yeah, can I please? God damn it, money. Sorry, money, pussy. Just please. Can I?
The
Please?
guy they throw around now, of course, is Idris Elba a lot. And I think like Idris Elba's too old now. He could have done it like back in 2006, but I think he's too old to play right now. But
Yeah, and he admits it. He's like, I'm way too old.
yeah, it wasn't the way. So Casino Royale fucks hard. And I think inspired by Batman Begins, this is my little pet theory. I think they decided to do what's kind of basically a prequel movie and like sort of make it leaner and nastier. No Q, no gadgets and shit. Emma's still there, still played by Judi Dench. But Casino Royale kind of fucks. I like Casino Royale a lot, actually. Quantum of Solace is generally considered to be the worst of the Daniel Craig Bond movies. Again, there's stuff to like about Quantum of Solace, but I think the problem is the villain is just kind of like a smarmy French guy who never really seems terribly threatening.
And it's a never-ending action movie because he's trying to out-dick Jason Bourne.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the thing. The Bond movies later sort of were competing with like Bourne and the Mission Impossible movies.
Right.
But they've kind of have their own thing because they're a little bit less like suave than Bond. Because like Craig is still like wears the suit and is like sexy and shit like that.
Right.
I think Daniel Craig in Casino Royale is like the hottest a dude has ever been in a movie.
Dude, it's insane. Those pecs make me as hard as those.
Yep.
God, I can see why Sean Connery exclusively has sex with men.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Quantum of Solace is the way it's shot. I mean, it was directed by a French art film director.
I think Lee Tamahori, who's actually from New Zealand, I think, directed.
Oh, really?
When We Were Kings. I think it was him. Let me pull it up.
Because the movie, what was it? It was it was something Butterfly.
No, I'm full of shit. Lee Tamahori, I don't know what he directed, but Mark Forrester directed Quantum of Solace, who is a German director, as a matter of fact. And he directed a number of movies, including World War Z and Christopher Robin.
Interesting.
Does anybody know if Daniel Craig is 17? I'd like to adopt him.
Make him my boy.
Now, I'm drinking a lot of tea, so I'm going to pee one more time. Talk about Skyfall and why Ron needs to watch it.
Okay, yes. As somebody who has never seen Skyfall, why do I need to see Skyfall?
It fucking bangs, and you finally become a man when you see it. It's clinically proven.
Dude, I've been waiting for that for so long.
I know.
I've tried everything, dude.
It's just not clicking. I know. You might need some, you got low T levels until you see Skyfall.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's clinically proven. They've done lots of blood tests.
Because I saw that recent Men in Black movie in theaters. Does that count?
That also decreases your T levels.
Fuck.
What happens is if you take away Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, they have to legally remove a testicle.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe AMC didn't take one of yours. It's printed on the back of the ticket.
No, I just saw Thor fight aliens, but it wasn't Thor.
It wasn't Thor.
Yeah.
What Tessa Thompson?
Yeah. Did you see that movie?
No, I heard as soon as I saw the trailer. I was like,
it is the most non-existent movie to ever exist.
Why did they make it?
I don't know. It was really bad. Did you remember? Because when they leaked those Sony emails with the interview and everything, it was confirmed that like they had talked about 21 Jump Street was going to cross over with Men in Black. And then that got canned, and we got the horse shit that is whatever.
Men in
Black.
Yeah. Talk about my favorite movie. I watched it on a plane, and I do not recall much. Liam Neeson's in it. Tessa Thompson's in it, I guess.
Correct.
Correct.
That's literally it.
They couldn't get Tommy Lee Jones does a lot of garbage for money. If a check clears, he'll show up and do your fucking movie. They couldn't get him to just do the Liam Neeson role?
Nope.
I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But Skyfall, that's good.
I mean, shit, that's a dream team right there. Sam Mendes directing, Roger Deakins DP.
The movie looks so fucking good. Like, it is one of the best shot movies ever.
It is Roger Deakins got robbed again at the Oscars for that one because it is beautiful. That fight scene in the office building,
I know exactly
where
what you're talking
silhouettes,
about. All the glasses and stuff.
Fucking
so good.
Jesus.
When he won for Blade Runner 2049, and Blade Runner 2049 looks amazing. Like, he deserves to win for that. But I think they really were giving it to him for Skyfall. And he won.
And everything else he's done. I mean,
He won again for
But-
1917. He's Mendez's guy.
Yeah, he should be. I mean, he should be everybody's guy. I mean, didn't he do the Thin Red Line? Wasn't that the one that
Possibly.
put him on the map?
Seems like the kind of thing he would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sam Mendes is the closest to like an auteur director Bond movie. Like he sort of has put more of his personal stamp on it than most people. And another cool thing about what's that?
Well, he did with Skyfall. I mean, if you watch Spectre, it is more a by the numbers formula
Spectre's
Bond
kind
movie.
of boring. That one's kind of lame.
It's okay. It's another wasted opportunity with a great actor playing the lead villain.
That's a good point. So for Skyfall, it brought back Moneypenny, and she's given an actual name, and there's more agency in this one. And Q, which is kind of clever. They have Q played by Ben Whishaw as a young nerd tech kid kind of thing. Because Desmond Llewellyn famously played Q from like Dr. No up to like, I think he's in World Is Not Enough. He did it for like 30 fucking years.
Yeah. He, wait, no. He did it for 40 years, and wasn't he in Die Another Day?
He
Yes.
might have been. That might have been his last one.
That was his last one. How ironic is it that Desmond Llewellyn, who lectured James Bond about blowing up his cars, died in a car accident?
Did he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
He was old as shit. It's weird that he died. If he hadn't died, he still would probably be doing the fucking Craig ones. The other kind of clever thing about Skyfall is the sort of de facto ostensible Bond girl dies midway through. And then for the last half of the movie, M is really the Bond girl. Judi Dench is really the Bond girl of Skyfall.
She's so good in it too. It's her swan song.
Yeah, and like Javier Bardem fucking is set. The villains have all been pretty good, aside from I guess that smarmy French guy. But who is it? Mads Mikkelsen in Casino Royale is fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
And in No Time to Die, it's going to be Rami Malek. So I look forward to seeing. I think he's a good actor. I want to see what he can fucking do with it.
With Christoph Waltz.
It's going to be back, yeah. So Spectre, because Christoph Waltz is playing Blofeld, the head of Spectre, the crime organization. Spectre has.
They couldn't.
What's that?
They couldn't bring that back until 2009.
Oh, for like rights issues or something?
That goes all the way back to Thunderball with Never Say Never Again. Yeah, and then because it was timed for like 30 years, I think, and then eventually they sued and got the rights back so they could save Spectre for the Craig arc.
See, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The little like the opening scene in Mexico kind of fucks Inspector. That's a good scene.
That rules.
It's Dave Bautista playing a silent henchman is pretty fucking cool. Monica Bellucci as a Bond girl is cool because them titties still be fucking popping at 50 years old.
Oldest Bond girl ever.
Oh, I would fucking hit it. I would hit it so hard.
Me too. And then
that's a Bond woman.
That's a good point. The rest of these bitches Bond girls. This is a Bond grown ass fucking
Get you a Bond woman. That's your problem, young blood. You out here messing with these Bond girls. You need to find yourself a Bond woman.
I agree. I think the issue with Spectre, one of the issues is they're kind of trying to do a Marvel thing where it's like a cinematic universe and they're setting up like all this lore and mythology. And so I feel like Christoph Waltz is a good performance as Blofeld, but since they're trying to set up so much, they don't really get to have him be, his own character. It's the Marvel problem where it's like we're setting up things that aren't going to pay off until 2 or 3 movies later and it doesn't feel satisfying.
Exactly, because, he's been the overarching Thanos in all of those movies linking back, which also, I mean, it's just like the Connery movies all the way up until You Only Live Twice, which I totally get why Sean Connery wanted to quit after that movie. It is a steaming pile of shit. Just to go back to that real quick, what was so bad about that movie is just to break into Spectre's fortress, which was in a fake volcano in Japan, he needed to assimilate with the Japanese culture.
Oh, I've seen this clip.
Oh, it's so bad. They gave him plastic surgery, which all they did was like extensive fake plastic surgery, but all they did is give him a bad bowl cut and then pull his eyes back a little bit.
It is very funny.
They make him marry a Japanese woman for cover. I'm like, you're just going into a volcano to fight. This makes no goddamn sense.
Jesus.
But on the other hand, it was very racist, so that's cool.
You know what? That's right up Sean Connery's alley. It was racist, and he really wanted to hit every woman on set. I mean, he was cracking his knuckles waking up in the morning just waiting for it.
Can't say I blame him.
I'll smack every broad and suck every hog. All right. Let's make another Bond film.
But Spectre was the only one that acknowledged the prior existence of the villains and brought them back.
Yes.
And had the Thanos effect. So, and with Robert Wade and Neil Purvis writing these, they knew that I don't know if they knew that going into it or if they just adjusted and said, well, we finally got this. Let's actually do it this way.
So the next one, No Time to Die, coming out in November, was supposed to be out already, but aerosol HIV got us all. So this new one, No Time to Die, Danny Boyle was going to direct it. He was actively involved in pre-production, but he wanted to change the script, and Barbara Broccoli ain't listening to nobody, so they fired him, and he was replaced with Carrie Jo Fukunaga.
You know why? The big thing that's rumored why they replaced him is because Danny Boyle wanted to kill Bond.
Oh, that's dumb. Don't do that.
No, stupid.
I would, yeah, they're right to replace him on that. Don't kill James Bond. That's very silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, have you seen Slumdog Millionaire? I mean, come on. I'm fucking
have you seen my worst movie, maybe?
Yeah.
Now, Carrie Jojai Fukunaga, I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. I believe he's the first American-born director of a James Bond movie. He directed a number of movies like Beasts of the Southern Wild. Oh no, Beasts of No Nation, and he was the director behind Maniac, that Jonah Hill series that Ron says.
That shit.
And True Detective.
He was the first season of True Detective. He directed every single episode.
Yep.
So it's actually sort of a very telling of the current film industry that like the only way auteurs are really coming up through the system is through television. I don't know. It kind of looks okay. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm so pumped. I think it's a great. It's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm so psyched for Mr. Robot to play the villain.
Rami Malek, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The rumor also on the streets is that it's going to be a throwback, like he's actually Dr. No.
Oh, yeah, I've read that.
I'm interested to see how he does that take with this, with the idea of chemical warfare.
Anna de Armas is the Bond girl in this one. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'll go see it. It kind of seems like Bond, there's always one Bond movie too many for each actor. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like Daniel Craig very much didn't want, he was like, I'll slit my fucking wrist. I don't want to do this. But he eventually did. So I don't know. Who do you think should play James Bond next? You got any big hot theories?
Well, one thing I've had a problem with all of the Craig movies, and if you kind of don't really pay attention to it until it's pointed out, in every single one of them, he's like, I'm going rogue.
That's true, like, now that you mention it.
Can he just go by the script? Can he just stick with the playbook and actually follow through with the mission instead of just being like, you know what, I'm leaving MI6. I'm done. Bye.
This is post 9/11. Now we have to be fucking go rogue. We have to be gritty about everything.
Yeah.
Everything, blah, 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 so much grainy shit.
You know who should play James Bond now?
Who?
Steven Seagal. I feel like it's the role he was born for.
Steven Seagal. I'm play James Bond and I sit down the entire film.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention, this movie, No Time to Die, was co-written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag. She was hired by Daniel Craig himself to do like a dialogue polish on it. So that seems fucking weird.
Yeah, just doing some punch-up work. Also, one thing I forgot to mention about Spectre. Radiohead was tapped to do the theme song. Have you listened to it?
It's pretty good, but it sounds like Radiohead. I can see why they didn't, because people have like lined it up with the opening, but I mean, they would have edited it differently. But I think it's pretty fucking good, but it sounds like a weird Radiohead song, so I can see why, you know, they didn't think it would be a huge hit.
Right, but I mean, they also screwed the pooch with What's His Dick singing it.
Sam Smith.
God, it's so bad.
That one's kind of lame. I've listened to the Billie Eilish one for No Time to Die, and I've already forgotten it.
Oh, I haven't listened to it yet.
It's out there.
Pretty good, yeah.
Get fucking Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. Get Arctic Monkeys to do it.
Yeah.
That would
Or
rule.
give Radiohead another shot.
Neutral Milk Hotel James Bond theme win.
Why don't we have a Death Grips Bond theme yet?
Yeah.
Dude, I just want to hear a Bond theme where someone's playing the saw.
Someone's talking about like how he wants to fuck Anne Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd stuff. I don't know.
There's semen coming from the mountaintops. That needs to be in a Bond theme.
That's the thing. Idris Elba, I think, is too old now. I think Henry Cavill's too old now. I mean, he pretty much definitely is. So the real question of like who should play James Bond? Someone we fucking don't know. You know, I don't know.
You know who I would think would just bang in that role is Tom Hardy.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that's the case. Who did? I think Pierce Brosnan said he'd be good at it.
Probably.
I'd love to do. By the way, I just Googled who's the next James Bond, and I just have to screen share with you guys because this pulled up, and I'm gay, guys. Just look at how fucking hot he was. This
Damn,
is Daniel
dude.
Craig.
I'm telling you though, this is how I'm coming out of quarantine.
I believe it.
Dude, my diet and workouts are on fucking point.
So here's the contenders this GQ article is positing. The first one, Michael B. Jordan, who would, in addition to being the first American James Bond, obviously be the first black James Bond.
Not ripped enough.
I mean, I think he could be good at it, but I don't know if he wants to do it. And you're right. He's pretty fucking ripped. You see Black Panther?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it as a good fit because he's just too, he brings a boyish charm to everything he does except for Black Panther.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Here's another guy who I've never fucking heard of, Sam Hugon, who's the star of Outlander, which is a show I'm vaguely aware exists.
Okay.
His forehead's too big.
Michael Fassbender, who I think is too old and too established at this point.
And his dick is too big.
Yeah, that's been my problem too. Daniel Craig again. No, don't fucking do Daniel Craig again.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Oh, and so Lashana Lynch, this is the big thing that was like a dumb controversy, but it's not. For like in a second in a little bit in No Time to Die, it's going to be like a 007's a black woman now or something like that.
Right, because James Bond goes rogue.
That's always fucking happens.
Yeah.
Richard Madden, I could see this guy as the new James Bond. He's in Game of Thrones Bodyguard. I think he's young. I could see
it. Good. I could see it too.
He's got a big head.
But you know what? They finally can go back to a guy with dark hair.
That's true. James Norton, who I've never heard of. He's in things.
Don't know who that is.
Tom Hardy, of course, would be great.
God, he'd be awesome.
Tom Hiddleston, he's too established as Loki. Although he's got a good look for it.
I don't think so. I think he's not handsome enough.
Riz Ahmed as the first Brown Bond.
Absolutely. I'm going to take this stand. Absolutely not.
Really?
I'm sorry. He just looks like a fucking dork.
Yeah, he looks like he could be Q.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Working in, tech support or whatever.
I'll tell you who I would do if they're going to do the first Brown Bond. Who's the guy? Dev Patel. I think he'd be a better fucking Bond than Riz Ahmed.
Dude, Kumail Nanjiani's ripped now. Why don't we just have him play Bond?
Kumail would be a good Bond. Yeah. We need an HIV positive black woman to play James Bond.
Yeah.
Why don't we just get Jane Goodall to be James Bond?
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. We solved James Bond movies. We're running over. So let's play a little game, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there is a theme song for this game.
Oh, my God. This is what I'm going to go pee. This is my pee.
If anyone needs to go pee, I'm going to do this myself. Two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, get yourself off the ground. I said, young man, because you're in a new town. There's no need to see a movie, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you want some popcorn and soda, you can go there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to see some movies. It's fun to go to the IMDB. It's fun to go to the IMDB. All right. What do you think about that?
I love it. I'm all about it.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, wait, no, I turned everything down. I'm sorry. I need to turn this back up. I'm being dumb. It's fun to stay at the YM. All right, enough of that. So what do you think? What do you think about
that? That theme song rips. That was great.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm one of the most talented vocalists in my generation. Why don't I do the next Bond song?
Yeah, why don't you replace Billie Eilish and just kill it?
Now, here's Billie Eilish, and society is not ready to talk about this, but she has got some big-ass titties. And
she is 18 now. It is legal to talk about.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not gonna fuck her regardless of her age because she's not interested in fucking me.
Right.
She just has big titties. That's a fact. That's not a judgment. That's just stating something that she doesn't want the world to know about.
Yeah, she's got some stinky knocks.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Because she never washes under them is the problem.
Yeah, stanky knocks. Yeah,
some sweaty danglers.
So here's how this game is played. The IMDb game. I'm going to give you plot keywords. Okay, from the IMDb pages from these movies, and you see if you can guess the title of this movie. Okay? So Ron can go first, and so you can see how it's played. Ron, would you like a film from 2019 or 2018?
Let's go 2018.
2018. First 3 keywords for this film from 2018 are passed out, hand wound, hairy chest. Next three are Southern accent, mustache, nihilism. Next three, wind turbine, billboard, urine.
Sorry, what was that again? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Wind turbine, billboard, urine stained pants.
Is it 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri?
No, but good guess. The final three, tinnitus, alcoholism, singer. Big movie.
Oh.
2018.
Fuck. Star is Born.
Star is Born is correct.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
I'm the champion.
All right. So, my good sir, Mr. Billy, would you like a film from 1977 or 1974?
1977.
1977. First three. Airplane, cocaine, New York City.
No clue.
Next three. Movie theater, split screen, tennis. Next three. Bookstore, sex scene, lobster.
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall is correct. The final three.
Yeah.
Neuroses, Jew, breakup. Alrighty. Ronald McDonald, would you like...
Sorry, you broke up a little bit. Did you just say Jew?
Yeah, well, I didn't. I'm just reading the new fucking the IMDb trivia, but three of them were neuroses, Jew, and whatever the breakup. So, I mean, listen, it's a pretty Jewy movie, all right?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm one of the chosen few, so I can, say it with that tone.
What if we did a remake of a Goofy movie with Hasidic Jews and call it a Jewy movie? You think that would make money at the box office?
I think Woody Allen playing Goofy would probably be the performance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
All right, Ronald McDonald, would you like a film from 1987 or 1984?
84.
84. First three. College, teamwork, vehicle. Next three.
Animal House?
No, good guess though. Laser, ballroom, nerd.
Revenge of the Nerds?
No. Next three. City mayor, possession, library.
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters is correct.
Bada bing, bada boom, baby.
Nice.
Final three would have been firehouse, scientist, and paranormal investigation team. Alrighty. Alrighty, sir. Just a second. I'm deleting ones we've done. Okie dokie. Sir, would you like a film from 1995 or 1997?
97.
1997. Hell of a year. All right, guys. 1997, we've got Wheelchair, Elitism, Redheaded Woman. Next three. Popeye, which is not 1997. Should have been, though. What an insane movie that is, Robert Altman's Popeye. Next three. Boiler Room, Card Game, Handcuffed to Something.
Pulp Fiction?
No, that was
that was in 97. Yeah.
Next three. Staircase, Dancing, Cold Water. Get into the final three. Mass Death, Naked, Iceberg. Schindler's List is correct.
Yeah, I think it is Titanic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be? Yes. Now, here's my new anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. All the Jews that were supposed to be killed in the Holocaust invented time travel, went onto the Titanic, and that's where they all went.
I think that is fact.
Yep. Me and Mel Gibson's dad are teaming up. All righty. Next, Mr. Ronald McDonald, would you like a film from 2008 or 2010?
2010.
2010. All right, guys. First three. Chess piece, van, corporate espionage. Next three. Falling off a bridge, virtual world, washed up on a beach.
Virtual world.
Next 3, hallway, suicide, marriage.
Inception?
Inception is correct.
Damn.
Final 3 would have been heist, airplane, and dreams. Very good. All right, sir, you're going last. Would you like a film from 1994 or 1992?
94.
1994. All right, first 3. Diner, tabloid, black bra and panties.
Pulp Fiction?
No, that did come out in 94, though. Snake bite, dream sequence, camera. Next 3. Male pubic hair, couple, prison break. Final 3. Child molestation, serial killers, satire. Now I'll give you a hint. It shares a writer with Pulp Fiction.
Is it a Robert Rodriguez movie?
No, it was directed by Oliver Stone. Quentin Tarantino gets a story by credit, although he says the movie they made has nothing to do with his script that Oliver Stone bought.
Oh, that wasn't JFK.
Not JFK.
No.
Stars Woody Harrelson, whose father might have killed JFK. Woody Harrelson's father.
Natural Born Killers?
Oh, yeah.
You're correct. Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
That's the thing nobody talks about, which is wild. Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman for the mafia and might have been involved in the murder of JFK. And supposedly Oliver Stone, when he saw Woody Harrelson, was like, I cast you in this movie because I see violence in you. Which rules.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson talked about his dad on WTF.
Oh, did he? I kind of vaguely remember that episode. He talks about him and Jesse Ventura met with Donald Trump for dinner like years ago or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Woody Harrelson grew up here in Cincinnati, just right down the street and on the west side.
I didn't know that. Cincy boy. All right, guys, let's do some recommendations and then get the hell out of here. Recommend movies you saw recently that you liked a lot. Did you got anything locked and loaded, Ronald?
Dude, I rewatched Detective Pikachu. I rewatched Aquaman. Watched this badass documentary called Circus of Books about
the old Jewish. Well, what's it about, Ron?
The old Jewish couple who run a gay sex porn store and gay sex toy store since like the 80s or so, and how they just like accidentally fell into it in their story. Yeah, give it up for it. This another weird one. I rewatched The Money Pit.
Oh, the Tom Hanks Goldie Hawn picture?
Yeah, because it was on Netflix. Jesus Christ, man. That's too, boy.
Yeah, woof.
Woof. Remember when you could make a movie like that?
You want to recommend not watching The Money Pit?
Yes.
If at all possible, continue not watching it.
Delete it from your queue.
Yeah.
Done with it. Well, I want to recommend a good movie I saw recently. I'm collecting Blu-rays now. I'm kind of getting into it. I've collected a few, but I bought on Criterion the Blu-ray collection of Jackie Chan's Police Story 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Police Story 1 fucking rules. It's just so much fun. It moves so quickly. It's just poetry in motion. It's like the least boring movie ever made. Just shit is constantly happening. It's so fun.
Nice.
The Criterion Blu-ray looks really, 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 really good. It's a great transfer. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I would highly recommend spending $30 like a fucking idiot on the Criterion Blu-ray of Police Story and Police Story 2.
Nice.
Nice.
What do you want to recommend, good sir?
Last night, my wife and I drunkenly watched Velocipaster.
Okay.
That movie fucking rules.
Mm-hmm.
It is so terrible, so poorly shot.
No, I do have one issue with it, which is that the check they gave me for my life rights did not clear, and I rude of them. No, a pastor, like a Christian pastor.
Yeah, he's like a pastor or a priest, and he goes on sabbatical to travel for once in his life, and he goes to China, which is clearly just the woods of Pennsylvania where they're shooting this movie.
Nice.
And the way that they tell you it's China is he's just walking around, and then just in big yellow font it says China. And then he's walking around. He's like, boy, I'm so glad to be in China. China is so nice this time of year. Boy, do I love China. And then just that's it. But he finds like a tooth and all of a sudden becomes hungry and becomes a velociraptor who eats bad people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fantastic. If you love B movies, it is borderline, like they ride the line of we know this is bad and we're acting like it too. I'm taking this very seriously. Very seriously. Like it's just a great balance. It's so much fun. It's on Amazon Prime for free. So definitely check it out.
Oh.
And I've just been binge watching Bond movies. I've watched 16 during this quarantine. So watch
They're
this.
all on Amazon Prime too, right? Or at least a bunch of them are?
They all are, except for the Craig ones. Those are on HBO.
Oh yeah, I saw it. That's why I was watching them on that.
So watch The Spy Who Loved Me. It's so fucking good. It's my favorite. And
where can we find your podcast, sir?
You can find my podcasts on everything that has podcasts available. The New Nasty Boys, which we are a part of the Armchair Media Network, which is a network of 40 other different sports podcasts focusing on college football, basketball, football, baseball, all that stuff. So definitely give that a listen if you're a baseball fan. And also coming out May 15th will be my debut stand-up comedy album, Drinking at the Kids Table.
Hey.
I produced it myself. I don't have a label. I did it all myself. We recorded it at where I live in my neighborhood of Over the Rhine at this place called The Hub. It's a tiny punk bar where we packed 77 people in, ass to elbows.
It's an awesome spot. I did a show there. I think I was saying I might have done, because there was the mic. I think the show that I was on might have actually ended up like being the first show.
Yeah.
Down there.
Yeah, because I booked you on that.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah.
Dude, that room is so perfect for comedy. And the cool part is like they respect the fuck out of comedy. Like they tell people to shut the hell up. They'll kick you out if you're being a disturbance. Like they'll do a lot more than some clubs will do.
Right.
So like, and it's, it's in my home. Like it's in where I live, and it was important for me to be able to walk down the street and go there and record my fucking first album. So I'm really cool. I'm really excited with how it came out. I think, it's great. Even though, I'm biased, I think everyone will thoroughly enjoy it.
Check out Billy DeVore. It's on all that shit, May 15th. You can find me. What's that? What's it called?
It's called Drinking at the Kids Table.
It's a good album name. I like that.
Thanks.
I have a comedy album on Spotify. It's called Forced and Impersonal. It's not that good, but feel free to listen to it if you'd like. Recorded it before I should have recorded a comedy album. I mean, it's not like terrible. I listened to it and I'm not like, oh fuck, that's bad. But like some of the jokes are soft. It's just not great, but it's okay.
How long into comedy did you record it? Like what year were you?
5-6 years maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. I forget exactly.
I'm at 9.
There you go. That's probably.
I was like, it's fucking time. Let's go.
First off, like it doesn't take much to record an album. Just record it, because the worst thing you get is like you have an album that's not that great. Who gives a shit?
No. You know what's really cool is I got Lauren Turner to produce and mix it for me and record it, and he is the engineer for Foxy Shazam.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. So that was really cool that I got hooked up with him. So it sounds awesome.
Good to hear. Find me on Instagram, COLLINBULLOCK. Still not on Twitter, called Tommy Lahren a cunt. Continue to stand behind that. You, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at Ron Irvin, ERVIN, and you can find me on Instagram at Ron Isn't Real, and you can follow the show on Twitter at Adult Films Pod and like the Facebook page. Billy, do you want to shout out your handles?
Yeah, you can follow the New Nasty Boys at the New Nasty Boys on Instagram. We have a Facebook I never use because Facebook is for boomers.
True.
And we have a Twitter, which we don't use because Twitter is a hellscape. So Instagram's where it's at. You can follow me personally at William IV on Twitter and Instagram, and friend me on Facebook at Billy DeVore.
There you go. Thank you so much for doing the show, Billy. Thank you all. What's that?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, very, very welcome. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, bring me a martini, shaken, not stirred, to the concession stand.
I'm sure later on you will